All right, folks. You're at the Southwest Mine. Right here's the shaft. This shaft right here happens to be 700 feet deep also. It's also called an interior because it's a shaft inside of another mine. Now then, this big piece of equipment right there, that's a cage. That's a standard cage. 12 men can ride on that cage. Now this cage is run with a little electric motor and a hoist up above, and it kind of goes up and down like a sick elevator. Now then, if you happen to be on US 80 and at our traffic circle and looked to the southeast side and saw that real tall gallows frame coming up over the top of a hill, that's the camel shaft. That is the fastest running shaft of all of them. When you came to work on a Monday morning, after a big holiday weekend, and that cager brings that cage up, pulls that rope and stops, that shift boss walks out, opens these gates up and says, let's go. You want to be the first man that gets on that cage back up to that wall, let the other 11 men back up to you, especially after a holiday. Why? As soon as that cage is loaded, that cager pulls that rope, that hoisting engineer drops the brake. You feel like you're free falling the first 100 to 150 feet. Why do you want to be standing in the back? Folks, as you're starting to go down, if somebody's got a hangover, something's coming up. You definitely want to be standing in the back. And if you can't get in the back, you grab your shirt, you pull it up tight to your neck. That way, if it comes up anyway, at least it's staying on the outside of your shirt, not down your back. All right, this little car right here is called a K car. We use these cars at the Dallas mine. The Dallas mine was a nasty mine. It was a wet mine. It was a caving mine. We could drive a straight crosscut, straight in. In about 2 to 3 months, that ground would start to twist, turn, and heave, and roll around, so we wouldn't have to move the timber too often. We used this car right here. This big old car here is called an E-car. Holds 3 tons of rock. When you came into our facility, I know you saw that big trolley motor outside. That trolley motor could pull 30 of these cars loaded at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. Now, when you saw him coming, you found you a hole, you got up in it, and you let him go. Folks, he doesn't have brakes. The only way he controls that motor is to reverse the polarity on that engine. This little car right here, it's called a H car. Holds 1 ton of rock. This is the kind of cars I used in the crosscuts. Remember I said those crosscuts about 10.5 feet across on the bottom? We had what we called a super switch. Actually, that's 2 sets of rails welded to a steel plate with a switch on each end. I could bring 6 of these cars in on one side, empty, send 6 loaded cars out on the other side, loaded. Now this piece of equipment right here, it's called a Finley. It's nothing but a glorified front-end loader that runs on rails all powered by air, and when you pull this handle back this way, this machine righted itself, and that bucket full of rock come right over into this car. Take about 1.5 minutes to load this car up. That was also my machine off the 700 level of the coal shaft. Now then, you've been following me around this mine. You know it's a copper mine. Has anybody got any idea what kind of rock this is? I'll tell you what it is. It's called leverite. Leverite there because it has no copper value whatsoever. Now we're going to pretend that you people are all miners. You're on the 2800 level of the camel shaft. That's the last place that I worked. That's 2,800 feet down. You got a stomach problem. Where are you going? How about right here? Oh. It's not a barbecue. This is called a sanitation car. Now then, let's be honest. Do you think we call it a sanitation car? Nope, started with an S. Now, at the Dallas mine, we hung all the toilet paper up there on the wire. Why? We had rats and we had cockroaches, big ones. Now we fed them. We didn't try to pet them, but we kept them for one reason. If you're working somewhere and all of a sudden them rats and cockroaches come out, get on that rail and start running, you better go back here and check your mountain. She's a-moving. They could sense the movement of the earth before we could. Now then, let's say we got a new man that's working down here, brand new man, and he needs to use this facility. We had to walk him around till he's about to bust or die. Bring him over here, take his helmet, take his light, put it over there and tell him, get up there and sit down, do your business. Well, as soon as he gets all set down, you think I want to stand here and look at him? No. As I walk away from him, remember what I said the grade of the track was, 2%? I just kicked the wedge out from under that wheel. He's a-moving all right. As this car goes a-rolling off down to the dark, he'll start screaming, squalling, bawling, throwing a fit. Somebody will tell him, set the brake. Well, he'll grab a hold of this and twist it. Folks, these cars don't have a brake. That's the valve that dumps it. Once it gets stopped, we'll show up with a 5-gallon bucket, a shovel, a sack of white lime, and a water hose. You know what his job is? Oh, yes, cleaning it up. You know what you call it also? For a new man, it's called initiation. Did all new miners get initiated underground? Yes. There ain't no sense in me lying about it. I got to shovel it also. Now I'm going to show you one more little thing. I want you to look towards this corner right over here. You see this blue piece of steel? Arizona State Code of Mine bell signals on every level of every down shaft in the state of Arizona. There's one of these. This lists the levels. This lists the call signals. All right, when I come in here, I told you we was on the 3rd level. Let's call that cager and have him come get us. Well, what we would do is we'd walk over here, grab a hold of this and go 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That cager, this bell is hooked up with electricity, it rings better, is on every level. That cager will hear that bell, he'll stop his cage, reach over, stop it, ring it, and that means I'll be there in a minute. Now then, once we're here, we're going to tell him we want to go to the 8th level. He's going to put us on that cage. He's going to use that other rope, but he's going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and he's going to drop us at about 100 feet a minute. Now then, folks, we're going to walk towards that train. I got to talk to you some more, but when I unload you and you walk in through the back door, as you walk down towards the counter, please walk on the outside of the counter. Leave your lights at the end of the counter where you got them. Battery on the outside, and just take your helmets and your vest and put them all the way down below. We'll put them up. So let's head towards that train. I got to talk to you some more.